Look, welcome back to the channel. My name is Corey, and it has been a long time since we've seen each other, and I have missed you guys so much. And unfortunately, today is not a joyous occasion. It's not a joyous return for me. You know, I don't have any good news to tell you guys. I don't have any like Silk Song cope or anything, because I am coming with bad news and bad vibes today, all around. So embrace yourselves, and I'm sorry. I'm very sorry to Extremely OK Games to have to spread potential negative information. But, you know, no one's talking about this, and I believe it's important and it's news. And yeah, no one has said anything about it. It's just kind of flown right under the rug. I don't know why. Anyway, what is going on? Well, you guys might have heard of a little game called Earthblade, right? You guys might have heard of that little game, Earthblade, right? It's honestly just like Silksong, only it's not a sequel, but it's a follow-up to an extremely massive indie hit, Celeste. Now, I know you guys have heard of Celeste. You have to have heard of Celeste. If you haven't, you know, Celeste is an amazing 2D platformer about climbing a mountain, metaphorically and physically. And if you ever see a top 5 or top 10 indie list, I'm sure this is somewhere probably high on that list. Anyway, Celeste was made by, you know, a group of people. They are called, the company is Extremely OK Games now. It used to be Maddie Makes Games, and it was originally created by Maddie Thorson, Noel Berry, and now so they've been working on a new game called Earthblade, right? That is actually a Metroidvania. It got announced a few years ago, and we've seen some trailers for it already. I probably have footage playing in the video, but earlier this year it got announced that it would be pushed back to 2025. And after our Silksong journey, it's just kind of like, okay, that's not bad, you know, just push back a year or whatever, no biggie. The trailers have looked so amazing and so interesting. They have like this really sick like trailer that it's like a moving camera through the map, and like it'll go down and the character will run across, and then it's like still going down. You'll see the character running somewhere else, and it was like all shot live. And the trailer is just so cool looking, and the game looks really good. And it seems to have grown a lot from what Celeste was. You know, Celeste was a platformer. It was level based, but it was still very massive and had a lot of substance. But like, this clearly is going to have more. Anyway, here comes the bad, folks. I'm sorry. On Friday or Thursday, November 15th or 14th. I don't know which day it was exactly. I'll double check when I'm getting all my screenshots and stuff. But I started to notice some tweets going around the interwebs, and I began to get a little scared. I'm not gonna lie. And before I go further, I have to say this. These are tweets. They do not tell a full story. They do not represent everything. You know, we don't know anything. We can infer a lot of things from this, but we actually don't know what's going on until the full story comes out. If it ever even does, I just want to say, let's not jump to conclusions about the game, about the team, about anyone in particular. And like we should always do, is we should just give indie developers break, space, time, because they're creating some of the biggest, best games with absolutely no resources or teams, and we expect the most out of them at all times. And anyway, the other day I got announced that one of the lead pixel artists, they refer to him as the pixel picker, Pedro Medeiros. If that's how you say his name. I'm sorry if I'm not saying that last name right. Pedro Medeiros left Extremely OK Games. Along with Pedro, there was another employee, Heidi Mata. Sorry again. But 2 employees left Extremely OK Games. Now, if you look at their team website, Maddie, Noel, Amora, Pedro, Heidi, Lena Rain, which is the music, the amazing Celeste music we all know. So Lena is definitely doing Earthblade's music, and it's still there. And then there is, it says a team of Power Up Audio, which is probably doing sound effects and stuff. And then Chevy Ray, it says they're the dog wrangler. I don't know what that is, but look at that. So we have We have 7 people plus power up audio. It could be a team, whatever. Who knows? They're probably third party, separate, just submitting stuff, not really part of the development per se. We have 7 people, and two just left. Now, I haven't checked in on Chevy or Amora or Lena, but I assume they're still there. Maybe I'll do that before I finish this video up. Maddie and Noel were the original creators. They created Celeste as a game jam game, and it was a Pico 8 game. I'm sure everybody knows this already, but it ended up being so popular and it was already like a speedrunning game as a Pico game, that they decided to make it into a full game. Now that is where this team comes in. Now I don't know if someone like Amora was maybe there early on. I believe that it was just Maddie and Noel, that were the original people at Celeste. And I think over time, as Celeste started to grow, they brought in Pedro to fine-tune some of the pixels. They brought in, Lena to really create the music, because they did have placeholder music that I think Maddie was making originally, if you listen to like interviews of them. So all these people get brought in about halfway through Celeste and really help make Celeste be what it is. Now, that's going to be the debate, right? Now, people leave companies all the time. It's not a major deal. However, when we're talking about an indie game company that has 7 people, losing 2 people is like that's a good chunk of your staff right there. So it sucks, but it seems to mean a little bit more, if you ask me. In these tweets that they put out, it's classic PR, where they're showing nothing but love, because you don't ever want to leave a company and just start shitting on them publicly. It's just a bad social norm that like some people do, and it's, there should be a level of professionalism that should be taken into consideration when leaving a company, especially companies like this. Now, if you get fired from, McDonald's, and you had like the worst GM, like, yeah, go shit on McDonald's. But like when you're like working for like an indie game company, you don't want to just leave and be like, yo, screw them, blah blah blah. So of course these tweets are gonna be like, yes, everything's all right, blah blah blah. But sometimes you can hide a little bit of shade in there, right? So if we read between the lines, in Pedro's tweet specifically, he does mention an issue where he mentions an issue he had and why he was leaving, and it is apparently based around Celeste's art ownership. Now, yeah, we know that it was originally created by Maddie and Noel, and it ended up doing so well they made a full version, brought in the team, and I remember listening to interviews of Celeste and the making of it, and I remember them really bigging up Pedro and the work that he brought into it, and it really seems like Celeste might have been an unpolished, unfinished product before these people got brought in. It had maybe lackluster music, maybe not even the best sound effects, not even the best character animation for Madeline. Because I believe Pedro specifically really made the animation amazing. Might have had something to do with the hair. I know the hair has like a specific movement to it, but I'm not going to put that on Pedro. I don't know exactly what Pedro contributed, but I really remember the interviews where they seem to be really impressed with Pedro's work and what he brought to Celeste. Now, this brings us into the argument that they probably had behind the scenes, which, while Maddie and Noel both created Celeste, created the groundwork, created the characters, and even laid the foundation for the art style completely, like that alone, it gives you the right to ownership of it all. You are the creator of it. It's your baby. And you hire someone to make it better. That person is then an employee. That person is not the original creator. So I could picture that's where Maddie and Noel are coming from. Now, I'm so sorry to Extremely OK Games. I do not want to be putting any of this on anybody. If none of this is even true or anything, So sorry. But personally, I kind of believe that Pedro was one of the people that went in and did put that polishing touch. It's hard to say, but maybe if Celeste comes out without those attention to details, it doesn't do as well. I don't know. Who really knows? But I believe that would be a good argument for Pedro to have of like, hey, like this game wasn't what it was before I stepped into it. And I really helped and I believe that I'm equal part of the team, and but it may be looked at more of as an employee situation and not a team. Who knows? Who knows? But even if we knew everything that everyone contributed to the project, it would be hard to just pinpoint the ownership to just one person, which is why I do believe it should be a team thing and everyone should own it. That's just me. Apparently, this has affected Pedro enough to go through with leaving the company altogether. Now, he did say he is letting them use all the work he's done on Earthblade, which is a great thing. That's great. It'd be that would tell me it's really bad. If he leaves and he's like, no, they can't use anything that I created for Earthblade. I'm done. I don't even want them to use it. That means it's bad blood over there. But, this makes it a little bit better. This makes it better that he does actually wish them the best. He wants Earthblade to be an amazing game. He probably really believed in Earthblade and really loves the work he did for it. So why kill that over some disagreement of the past, But at the same time, you don't just decide to stop working together completely unless you are like upset about something. So let's get into the other employee, Heidi Mata. I don't know, sorry. They were the operations manager at Extremely OK Games. They would handle the social media and the community work, like speedrun competitions, stuff like that. When they announced they're leaving the company, it did appear like less hostile. There was no definitive reason that they put, but given the timing and Pedro leaving, I assume it's kind of siding with Pedro on something, whether it's the actual ownership or something else, I don't know. But if you read everything at face value, it's like it looks good, Heidi sent off it good and was very positive. I'm not a face value type of person, right? So let's read a little deeper. Into it. Heidi mentioned starting to work for the company in 2017, about the time of Celeste release. I don't remember exactly when, but I knew it was 2017, I'm pretty sure. And the only thing they've really said in their tweets, besides the fact that they're just leaving the company, is that the best part of working for the company, the best part of working for one of these once-in-a-lifetime indie companies that blows up was working with the community and connecting with all the fans. Now, that's great. That would be, especially doing social media work. It's like they are the ones connecting to it. They're not even really working on the game. But if you ask me, it's a little telling if you're leaving a company and you say, hey, I'm leaving this company. And the best part about working for this company was the consumers and the people that bought into it. Not the company at all. Oh, God, I'm sounding negative. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. This video is very hard for me to make. I'm so sorry. I don't want to be one of these negative YouTubers. And I want everyone to create peacefully and freely and do the best that they can and uplift the world. And I'm sorry that I'm being one of those people that's not very uplifting. But it seems to me that Heidi did say that, the best part was working with the people. And to me, that says nothing about the company. That says that maybe the company wasn't that good to work for. And what makes all this a little bit more solidified, that there is actual turmoil over there, is the way the Celeste account said, they retweeted Heidi and said, bye, bestie, thank you, with, hearts. But they didn't retweet Pedro. They didn't say bye to Pedro. Now, granted, Pedro did say, hey, there's some Celeste art ownership issue. So I could see them not wanting to retweet that tweet specifically. But it just confirms that there's a real issue between Pedro and them. And Heidi seemingly chose a side. And so the Celeste account tweets bye bestie to Heidi and nothing. And then if you look at Heidi's thing, Heidi doesn't retweet the Celeste account. She doesn't share that. She does retweet Pedro and Pedro's tweet about leaving Extremely OK Games. And I know social media does not matter, but it is just kind of alarming that they would say goodbye to one employee and not the other one when you're a small team. I don't know. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and end this negative video now. Above all, Celeste was one of the best games that I've ever played. And to be fair, it really makes sense that the original teams and the original creators would want to keep their ownership. And if they originally hired someone to just contribute to it and to not be a creator owner of it, that's where creation gets really difficult. When you're on a project, you might hire someone to be a part of that project, yet it is your baby, you know what I mean? And you paid them substantially well to do the job that they did. They didn't have to go through times of no payments, struggling to make the first half of that game potentially. So when you go to hire someone and you pay them for their work, they receive money for that work that they give you. And there's probably paperwork saying, hey, we're going to pay you to create art assets for our game. And you don't own them. We own them. But we're going to pay you well enough for it to where you can give up your ownership for it. That's how a lot of stuff works. Now, when you're an artist and you join a team and you start giving art assets and creating with them, and it turns into this huge project and you're just a small team, I would also extremely want to be equal in that. I would feel equal. I would feel like, hey, we're 7 people. You did this. I did this. They did this. Let's all be equal. But if your paperwork, and if that isn't stated at the beginning of working together, then it becomes a problem later. And unfortunately, working with creative projects like this with friends, it's not very easy to be business-minded at the beginning of it when you don't know what's going on. Now, so the real problem here isn't any actual person. It's the paperwork, and it's the business side of things. And that's often why a lot of companies and partners and people split up over time, is because the business was never handled on the back end. They may have all the mutual respect and love for the other person, but when the business gets flipped and people don't feel deserving of the work they did, that's where you're going to have some real issues. Now, let's use this as a lesson to, if you join a project, just have it in handwriting what you want and what you want to contribute and what you want to receive for that, and make sure you're okay with that. And then once you sign that, you have to live with that until it's fulfilled. But having your contracts read and negotiated is one of the most important yet also annoying parts about creating with a company and not independently on your own. Either way, this is the one thing that almost every artist has to learn the hard way, and way too late in their career, and usually after they lose ownership of something that they really love and are dear to. And it's the problem with money. But hope you all use this as a lesson. Cross your T's, dot your I's. Take care, and I'll be back whenever I'm needed. Whenever I'm needed, whenever there's no one posting a video on something that's kind of important like this, I'll be here. Love you guys. Thank you all for not unsubscribing. I know there's about 10 of you that have unsubscribed to me in the last month, and I'm sorry to not deliver, but I will try to deliver more. Also, give indie developers a break. Leave them alone. Let them create. Let them take their time.